back to 65. Myself Srija. Today you are going to learn about the type of joints and also about the appendicular skeleton within the musculoskeletal system. Appendicular skeleton. So what do you mean by appendicular skeleton? So appendicular skeleton, it includes all the bones of the arms, legs, hands, feet and the shoulder and also the pelvic girdles. So this attaches the limbs to the axial skeleton. So how many bones does this appendicular skeleton consist? So this consists of 126 bones. So what are the main functions of the appendicular skeleton? Movement, locomotion like walking or running, manipulation of the objects, grasping, holding and writing. So what are the components of the appendicular skeleton? So pectoral, shoulder, pectoral or also called as the shoulder girdle. So this is made up of the 4 bones. You can clearly see in the picture: shoulder girdle, pelvic girdle, arm, hand, leg, foot. They consist of the appendicular skeleton. So this pectoral or the shoulder girdle, it is made up of 4 bones. So these bones, they connect the upper limbs to the axial skeleton. Nothing but 2 bones of clavicle, that is collar bones, and 2 bones of scapula, that is shoulder blades. So this pectoral girdle, they provide the attachment for arm muscles and also they allow the wide range of arm movement. Next, coming to the upper limbs. Upper limbs made up of 60 bones. So what do you mean by upper limbs? The arm and hand. The upper arm, forearm, wrist and hand makes up the upper limbs. So altogether they consist of 60 bones. So at the arm, the upper arm, you consist of the humerus, which is 1 in each arm. So this humerus, it forms the upper arm and it attaches to the shoulder and the elbow joints. And next, forearm. Forearm, it consists of the radius and ulna. So radius is thumb side 2 bones, ulna, the little finger side 2 bones. So these bones, they helps to rotate the forearm like turning a door knob. Next bone is wrist and hand. So carpal bones. So wrist and hand, total there are 54 bones within 2 hands. So what are they? Carpal bones, which are 16 bones. So 8 in each wrist. So these carpal bones, these are the small bones that forms the wrist joint. Next, metacarpals. Metacarpals, these are 10 bones, 5 in each hand. So this make up the palm of the hand. And then phalanges. So these are 28 bones, 14 in each hand, nothing but these are the finger bones. So in thumb, there are 2 phalanges and other fingers 3 each. So this large number of small bones, they allow fine and precise movements like writing and gripping. So next to phalanges, pelvic girdle. So you can clearly see the picture of pelvic girdle here. Pelvic girdle, it is made up of 2 bones. So this pelvic girdle, it attaches the lower limbs to the axial skeleton. So this consists of 2 hip bones, which is also called as coxal bones. So each hip bone is actually formed by the fusion of the 3 bones. So what are they? Ilium, ischium and pubis. So what is the ilium? It is a broad upper part. You can clearly see in the picture. Ilium is a broad upper part. Ischium, it is a lower back part. You sit in, and pubis, it's a front part. So the point where these 3 bones meet is the acetabulum. So acetabulum, it is a point where these 3 bones, nothing but the ilium, ischium and pubis meet. So this is a socket where the femur fits. So what are the functions of the pelvic girdle? So this supports the body weight. It protects the pelvic organs such as bladder, reproductive organs, and also it provides the attachment for the lower limbs. So next to pelvic girdle, it's a lower limbs which is made up of 60 bones. So this lower limb, it bones help in standing, walking, running and supporting the entire body weight. So thigh, what are the bones which are covered under the lower limbs? Thigh, femur, knee patella, leg is tibia and fibula, whereas ankle and foot tarsal bones. So thigh femur, it is 1 in each leg. It's the longest and strongest bone in the body. It connects hip to knee. It helps in standing, walking, and also supporting the weight. So next is knee patella. It is also called as the kneecap. So it's a sesamoid bone, a bone formed inside a tendon. So knee patella is also called a sesamoid bone, right? In previous session, we have talked about this sesamoid bone. So what do you mean by sesamoid bone? The bone which is present inside a tendon. So this protects the knee joint and it improves the leverage of the thigh muscles. So next, leg, lower leg. So what are the organs, what are the bones which are present in the lower leg? You can clearly see in the picture here. Femur, patella, tibia, fibula, tarsals, metatarsals and phalanges. So tibia, toe bones, which is shin bone, larger weight bearing bone. So in fibula, it is a thinner bone on the side. It gives the support and muscle attachment. Tibia is a main weight bearing bone, whereas fibula stabilizes the ankle. So next, ankle and foot. In ankle and foot, you will find totally 52 bones in each. So tarsal bones, you have 14 bones in each foot. So these form the ankle and heel, including the talus and calcaneus. So coming metatarsals. Metatarsals, these are 10 bones together, 5 in each foot. So this form the arch and middle part of the foot. And last, you can find the phalanges, which are 28 bones, 14 in each foot. So this is also called as the toe bones. The big toe is 2 phalanges and other toes is 3 each. So what does this phalanges do? These allow balance like walking, running and jumping. So this is about the components of the appendicular skeleton. So what are the functions of the appendicular skeleton? So this appendicular skeleton, it includes the bones of the arms, legs, shoulder and also the pelvic girdle. So its main purpose is movement and interaction with the environment. So what is movement? The bones of the arms and legs, they allow all types of the body movements. So this includes reaching, bending, rotating, lifting and swinging. In short, it makes us the complex actions of the limbs possible. So the next function is locomotion. So locomotion means moving from one place to another. The bones in the legs help you to walk, run and jump. So without the appendicular skeleton, you cannot shift your body forward. Okay. You have to use this appendicular skeleton in order to shift your body forward. So the next function is manipulation of objects. So your upper limbs, that is hand, wrist, arm, they help us you to grip, hold, write, lift and perform the fine movements. So this allows the humans to interact with the environment in a controlled way. So hands plus arms gives the total use and the precision work. And the next function is support. So how does this appendicular skeleton support? The lower limbs, they carry the entire body weight, and the pelvis, they provides a strong base for standing and balancing, and it also keeps the body stable and upright. So next is protection. So how does it protect? The pelvic girdle, it protects the important organs like the reproductive organs and also the urinary bladder. So these organs are present in the pelvic region of the human body. So it forms a strong bowl-like structure around these organs. They also act like a protective shield. So next is storage and blood formation. So bones, they store the important minerals such as calcium and phosphorus. They also contain the bone marrow. This bone marrow, it produces the RBC cells, WBC cells and also platelets. So appendicular bones, they also help in the hematopoiesis, nothing but the blood cell formation. So this is about the appendicular skeleton. So now let's discuss about the joints. Joints and type of joints in the human body. So what is a joint first? A joint is where two or more bones meet, right? So what does these joints do? They allow the movement, they provide the stability and also they help to maintain the shape of the body. So joints, these are classified based upon two, structure and function. Structure is nothing but about what they are made of, and function is nothing but how much movement they allow. So first we'll discuss about the structural classification of the joints and then the functional classification of the joints. So first is fibrous joints. Based on structure, it is divided into fibrous joints and cartilaginous joints. So coming to fibrous joints, these are the joints where bones are connected by dense fibrous connective tissue. You can clearly see a picture here. You can see a types of fibrous joints in here. It is suture and it is syndesmosis and it is gomphosis. So these are the three types of the fibrous joints. So bones are connected by a dense fibrous connective tissue. So there is no joint space, there is no cavity between the joints. So they allow no movement or either they allow the very little movement. So because they are held tightly, they provide the stability rather than the movement. So what movement? If it's immovable, it is synarthrosis, or which is slightly movable, it is amphiarthrosis. So what are the types of the fibrous joints? Sutures, syndesmosis and gomphosis. The sutures, these are found only in the skull. So these bones fit together like puzzle pieces. So they are immovable, means they will not move. They do not move. They do not play the role of locomotion. So their job is to protection of the brain. And then the syndesmosis. So bones are connected by a ligament or interosseous membrane. For example, between radius and ulna, between tibia and fibula, and also they allow the slight movement in this syndesmosis. Coming to gomphosis, it is a peg-in socket joint. For example, tooth in the socket of the jaw. So the tooth is held by the periodontal ligament, right? So this helps in a movement. So very slight movement. So in sutures, there is no movement at all. Whereas in syndesmosis and gomphosis, they allow a slight movement. So this is about the fibrous joints and their types. So you have types of synovial joints. You can clearly see a picture here. What are the types of synovial joints? The condyloid joint, plane joint, ball and socket, hinge joint, saddle joint, and also the pivot joint. So let's break each one down simply. So synovial joints, these are the joints which allow free movement, but different joints allow different types of movement depending upon their shape. So when coming to the first type, planar gliding joint. So these are the flat bone surfaces which slide over each other. So what is the movement? The gliding movement only. What is the example? The intercarpal joints. So which is present in between the wrist bones. You can clearly see in the picture the plane joint is the wrist bone which is present in the wrist bone. Next is hinge joint. So this moves only in one plane. So flexion and extension are the functions of the hinge joint. So it's like a door opening and closing. For example, elbow joint. So the hinge joint is present in the elbow. And then pivot joint. So this is, it allows the rotation around the central axis. For example, atlantoaxial joint, that is C1, C2, in which it allows the head rotation. So there is no movement, but it allows the head rotation, a knob turning or a screw rotating. So next, condyloid joint. So what do you mean by condyloid joint? So it helps in flexion, extension, abduction, and also the circumduction. So if you think this is an oval shaped rock moving inside a shallow ball, this is about the condyloid joint. It is also called as ellipsoid joint. For example, wrist joint, which is also called as the radiocarpal joint, and saddle joint. So what do you mean by saddle joint? In saddle joint, the surfaces are both concave plus convex, like a saddle. It resembles a saddle. So it allows the flexion or extension movement, abduction or adduction, and also the circumduction. That is more movement than condyloid. For example, carpometacarpal joint of the thumb. So why it is important? This joint, it gives humans precision grip and also the opposable thumb function. So next it is ball and socket joint. So it helps in the movement. It helps in most mobile joint type. It also allows the flexion, extension, abduction, rotation, and circumduction. So what is the example? The shoulder joint, hip joint, a ball rotating inside a cup. So these are the types of the synovial joints. So what we have discussed is about the structural classification of the joints and now functional classification of the joints. So how they are classified? So joints can be classified based on how much movement they allow, right? So there are three types. So based on degree of movement, it is classified into synarthrosis, means there is no movement at all. So these joints are designed for protection, not for movement. For example, sutures of the skull. So they hold the skull bones tightly together. So think of it like a locked joint. It is stable and protective. And next, amphiarthrosis. It's a slightly movable joint. That is, you can see a limited or slight movement over here. Why? They need to provide both support and flexibility. So what is the example of amphiarthrosis? The intervertebral disc. Nothing but they allow the slight movement between the vertebrae for bending the spine. So if you think this like a rubber cushion, it bends a little. So that is about the amphiarthrosis. And next, diarthrosis, a freely movable joint. So this allows a wide range of movements. These are also called as the synovial joints. So what are the examples of diarthrosis joint? Shoulder, knee, hip, wrist, and elbow. So these are the joints that allow everyday motions like walking, lifting, writing, and sports. So what are the functions of the joints? Allow movement. So joints helps the body in many ways. They allow the movement. They also provide the flexibility. Nothing but it helps the body to adapt to different positions. It supports the body posture, like it helps you to stand and sit upright. It absorbs the shock, especially spine and knee joints. It reduces the stress during the running or jumping. It also connects the bones into a functional skeleton. That is, without joints, bones would be stiff and disconnected. So these are the functions of the joints. Yeah, that's it for today's session. I hope this session has helped you. And in the next session, you will be able to learn about the types of muscles and the structure of the muscles. Thank you.